What if the biggest thing standing between you and wealth is not your job, your income, or your background, but a set of quiet habits you repeat without noticing? What if you've been following patterns that keep you stuck in place while others move ahead with the same 24 hours and the same opportunities? In today's video, we're going to break those patterns wide open. Because the truth is simple, rich people and poor people think differently long before they earn differently. Wealth is built in the mind before it shows up in the bank account. And once you see the differences, you'll understand why some people rise and others repeat the same cycle for years. So let's uncover the top 5 things poor people do that rich people completely avoid, and more importantly, how you can break free starting today. 1. Living for appearances instead of value. Poor people often spend money to look successful, while rich people spend money to be successful. This is one of the clearest dividing lines between the two groups. Many people fall into the trap of buying clothes, gadgets, cars, and lifestyle upgrades just because they want others to think they're doing well. But wealthy people avoid this completely because they know status purchases don't grow their wealth, they shrink it. Poor people often feel pressured by friends, social media, community expectations, and modern culture. Every photo online looks perfect, so they feel like they must match that image, even if it pushes them deeper into debt. Rich people rarely feel that pressure. They understand that quiet wealth is real wealth, and loud spending is usually a sign of insecurity. The wealthy care about long-term value, durability, and return on investment. If a purchase doesn't increase their income, improve their skills, or give them useful comfort, they skip it without guilt. Meanwhile, poor people sometimes buy things hoping it will change how others see them, even though it changes nothing about their financial reality. And here is the deeper truth: trying to impress people who don't pay your bills is one of the fastest ways to stay broke. People who truly succeed learn early that appearance is optional, but financial stability is essential. When you stop spending to be seen and start spending with intention, your bank account finally starts breathing again. 2. Trading time for money without leverage. Poor people rely on one income stream for survival. That usually means working more hours to earn more money, until they burn out or hit a ceiling. Rich people approach money differently. They look for ways to turn their time, skills, creativity, or resources into something that earns money even when they're not physically working. This kind of leverage is the foundation of wealth. Anything that multiplies your effort, business systems, rental income, digital assets, investments, royalties, helps your money grow without needing extra hours from your body. Poor people often never explore this because they're taught to chase security, not scalability. And the issue isn't laziness. In fact, many poor people work harder and longer hours than anyone else. They simply don't know that hard work alone rarely leads to wealth. Without leverage, every dollar depends on your energy, and energy is limited. Rich people want their money to work harder than they do. Another problem is fear. Poor people often worry that trying something new is risky or unrealistic. But the wealthy see greater risk in staying dependent on a single paycheck. They treat their income like a table: if it has only one leg, it falls. Multiple legs make it stable. The moment you create even one small additional income stream, everything changes. You gain confidence, breathing room, and options. Rich people aren't lucky, they're leveraged. 3. Avoiding financial education. One of the biggest differences between poor and rich people is this: rich people take money seriously enough to learn about it. Poor people often avoid financial education because they believe it's boring, scary, complicated, or irrelevant. But money doesn't reward ignorance, it punishes it. Financial literacy is not about reading thick textbooks or becoming a math genius. It's about understanding the basic rules that control your financial life: compound interest, debt, taxes, budgeting, investing, credit scores, cash flow. Rich people treat these topics like tools. Poor people often treat them like stress. The wealthy learn from mentors, online courses, books, podcasts, and real experiences. They study how money moves, how markets shift, and how opportunities work. Poor people often say, "I'll figure it out later," but later turns into years, and years turn into stress. The painful part is this: when a poor person avoids learning about money, someone else who did learn ends up profiting from their mistakes. It might be banks charging interest, companies selling bad deals, or influencers giving poor advice. Lack of education makes you vulnerable in a world designed to take your money if you don't protect it. But the moment you start learning, even small steps, your confidence grows. You begin to recognize scams instantly. You understand where your money goes and how to make it return with friends. Knowledge is the cheapest investment with the biggest payoff. 4. Thinking short-term instead of long-term. Poor people often live in the right now. They make financial decisions based on today's desires, moods, and pressures. Rich people think in years, not minutes. They understand that sacrifice today brings security tomorrow. Short-term thinking makes people buy fast food instead of meal prepping, take payday loans instead of budgeting, ignore savings because it's only a little, or skip investments because it won't matter right now. Every decision feels small, but over time those tiny decisions shape your entire financial future. Rich people are patient. They know that wealth is not built through big moments, it's built through small, repeated actions. They know it pays to wait, build, invest, grow, and review. Poor people often want quick results, and when they don't see them, they give up. But money doesn't reward speed, it rewards consistency. Another big issue with short-term thinking is emotional spending. When life feels stressful, people reach for comfort, shopping, takeout, gadgets, outings, subscriptions. These bring temporary relief but long-term pain. Meanwhile, the wealthy ask, will this matter next year? That question creates discipline. If you want long-term wealth, zoom out. Think about what your 5-year self would want: a stable life, options, comfort, freedom. Every long-term decision brings that future closer. 5. Blaming others instead of taking responsibility. Many poor people fall into the blame trap. They blame the economy, their parents, their boss, their partner, their environment, even fate. And yes, life is unfair. Systems are imperfect. Everyone faces obstacles. But blaming doesn't solve anything. It delays growth. Rich people take responsibility even when things aren't their fault. They don't wait for rescue, they look for solutions. They understand that ownership brings power, and power creates momentum. Poor people often wait for conditions to improve before they take action. Rich people act first, adjust later. Blame gives temporary comfort but long-term failure. Responsibility gives temporary discomfort but long-term freedom. When you own your choices, you unlock the ability to change them. Poor people stay stuck because they see themselves as victims, not builders. In truth, the most financially successful individuals often started with less. What changed wasn't luck, it was accountability. They looked at their situation with brutal honesty and said, I don't like this, and I'm going to change it. That decision is the starting line of wealth. When you stop waiting for someone else to change your life, you begin the journey of changing it yourself. There you have it. These 5 behaviors may look small, but they shape your entire financial life. When you replace appearances with value, build leverage instead of limits, educate yourself instead of guessing, think long-term instead of short-term, and take responsibility instead of blaming, your entire trajectory changes. None of this requires perfect timing, huge income, or special talent, just self-awareness and consistent improvement. Your financial future isn't decided by where you start, it's decided by what you choose to repeat every day. If this video helped you even a little, please like, share, and hit that subscribe button to see my new videos. Please drop a comment about this. What financial behavior do you want AI to analyze next? I shall discuss this in the next topic. Thanks for watching. I shall see you in the next video.